Hello, everyone. So nice to see all of you here. Welcome to Product Week. Welcome. Welcome to Product Week, an event designed to help you level up on your product management skills and career. This event is powered by ADPList, the largest peer-to-peer learning platform in the world. If you're looking to learn, get mentored by the best people in tech, discuss ideas and network, ADPList is the perfect place for you. Come and join our community. We are 100% free. Now, something exciting about Product Week is we are giving away an Apple Watch to the best learner. Kindly sponsored by Product Academy. All you have to do is share your learnings from our events on LinkedIn and Twitter, tag our speakers and tag ADPList. For details on how to participate, please refer to the information on this page or the message in our chat window. A few housekeeping rules before we start the session. Please keep your camera on. We also encourage everyone to use your real name on Zoom. The presentation will be 30 minutes long, followed by a 15-minute Q&A. And this time we are using Slido to help us manage questions for the Q&A section. If you have never used Slido before, it's very simple. All you have to do is scan the QR code on this page, or that is behind me, or click on the link that will be shared by our team in the chat window every 10 minutes. We'll also be recording this session, so the link will be available to everyone as soon as possible. And one thing to note when submitting questions on Slido is please remember to use your name as well, because anonymous questions will not be considered. And you can also upvote other people's questions on Slido. Yeah. For today, we are very honored to have Will with us. Will is a specialist on new product development. He co-founded Fanbot, a rewards platform with a hyper-casual game approach. Then joined Nuvocargo, which is a company backed by Y Combinator and Tiger Global, as the first product manager to kick off product verticals. And now he's part of the product team at Fintual, where he's bringing to the rest of Latam market a savings through investment platform backed by Y Combinator and Sequoia Capital. So without further ado, I will pass the stage to Will. He's going to talk to us about 0 to 1 product management for startups.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And I'm really excited to be here. Thanks everyone for your time, for your attention. Here I'm in Mexico, and here is Mother's Day. So congratulations to all the mothers in the call. And I truly appreciate for the ones that are just starting your day and took time to be in this talk. So let's begin, shall we? I'm gonna share my screen. Here we go. Well, this is the 0 to 1 stage product management talk. You can call me Will, because I know that Guillermo maybe is a weird word. And we already know that we're going to have a QA at the end. Okay, let's go. First of all, what is the 0 to 1 stage? The 0 to 1 stage is whenever we're talking about the development of a totally new idea, like you just started your startup, or you just joined this crazy friend who is an engineer and needs a product perspective on this new product that they working on. It could be an iteration of an existing product. For example, you already try 3 months doing one way, and now you want to iterate that product into, okay, maybe let's switch the business model, or let's switch the user persona. It could be also that you're opening a company vertical. For example, if you're working on a marketplace and you have been focused on just one side of the marketplace for a queue, and now you want to start focus on this other side of the marketplace, that is a 0 to 1 stage. And it could also be whenever you're gonna expand the geographical service zone of of an already working product. Even if the product is not going to be changed at all, that will be a 0 to 1 stage. Basically, a 0 to 1 stage is anytime that you're going to do something new and it's going to involve an unusual degree of uncertainty. Now, this weird word, for me at least, is really special, and we're going to see why on this 0 to 1 stage. But first, we're going to go through some some assumptions that we're going to have during the presentation. This is like kind of like a disclaimer, like a product disclaimer. And we're going to assume that you have already decided that this is an important problem or a relevant opportunity for you and your company that requires your full attention, and this is the priority. And we're also going to make the assumption that you already have designed an MVP. For giving priorities and for designing MVPs, you can find lots of resources online. So we're not gonna discuss those points. We're gonna assume that you already decided this is the thing that you need to focus on, and you have already a clear idea, a clear MVP design, risk assumption test, or whatever you want on what is the first thing that you have to build. Also, the framework that we're going to discuss is agnostic to whatever methodology you're using. You can be working on ShapeUp, Agile, Kanban, whatever, mix and match of whatever works for you and it's out there. That's cool. And whatever team size and whatever team structure. So this framework will help you to navigate as a PM the 0 to 1 stage, no matter how you're working. But it's really important that you have already defined that this is the priority and you have a clear MVP. Cool. Now, let's go back to this one. As I was saying, uncertainty is the key word of this. How does uncertainty looks like in the product development process? Well, it looks like these kind of questions. You're just starting developing this new company vertical. You're landing on this new country. You're thinking of doing an iteration or a pivot of an existing product, and you're gonna get these questions from the CEO, from your team, from yourself, from everyone. Like, what should we do first? How much time is gonna take? Are we going to reach the goal? What should be the goal? Is the team willing to do this? Has the team done this before? Are they here because they have to, or did they choose to join this endeavor on the 0 to 1 stage of what you're building? So basically, fear. The key distinction of this stage, of the 0 to 1 stage, from any other product development stages, is that we have tons of fear. And well, the fear in the product development process, it's gonna be on the strategy, on the results or metrics that you choose to measure, and on your team. So as PMs during this 0 to 1 stage, our jobs is to give certainty to the strategy, to the roadmap, to the metrics, on the way that we're gonna select them, and the way that we're gonna keep track of them, and to the team. And maybe you're thinking, okay, this is amazing. I already know that I cannot be the one that is indecisive, or I need to be the one that brings direction and leads the product development process. And that is exactly what I'm gonna discuss during this talk. How can we move from fear, from this uncertainty, to diligence, to without lying, of course, because it's really easy, like just tell everyone like, yes, don't worry, we're gonna reach the goal. Of course, we're on track. what should be the initial metric for the Q1 on this new product vertical? Let's aim for 100 new users. That is the metric that we should do, because I'm so sure that we can make it, and that is the metric that we should choose to work on. So it's not going to be like that. It's going to be on how can we find diligence, decisiveness, how can we really lead this product development process, finding things that move the strategy, the team, and the metrics away from fear, away from these unknowns, to have a clear direction, and we can lead as product managers. Let's begin with this chart here. I also love the word uncertainty, because you can just remove the on, and that is the thing that we have to do. Just remember how, in whatever you're doing this stage, wherever you see uncertainty, okay, I have to take some time and think about how can we remove it and make it a clear process. So let's say that you're just starting building your roadmap, and you have to build this layout. You're gonna work for a queue, and you're gonna assign tasks for the sprints, and you can go either of these ways. You can just say, during this queue, we're gonna reach 100 new clients for this product that we're launching on this new country. If you go this way, you're gonna face lots of uncertainty. Why? Because first of all, why 100? I'm sure that maybe you have a really good communication strategy, and you can make a case out of it, but it's gonna be something that you made up. It's gonna be something that maybe you're doing a benchmark with the industry, or you read it somewhere, but it's not gonna be something that is truly a metric that will remove the fear from the process. So in this really subjective and broad example, the way to remove uncertainty from this process will be that the goal is actually not getting 100 new clients. The goal is actually know what happens to that metric of new clients if we do this. You were gonna do A anyways, but you don't have now the goal of getting the 100 new clients. You have the goal of knowing what happens to the new clients metric if you do A. And this is something that is that gives inner peace to the team. Yes, we obviously want to get those new clients, but first we need to aim to know what happens to the new clients metric if we do this exercise, this release, this campaign, this product. Let's move a little bit ahead of the diagram. If we do A, we go once again to how fear can get involved into the product development process. You're gonna get either X or Y results, and if you commit to a certain result, for example, 100 new clients, we're gonna also get trapped into this uncertainty mist. So the idea is not just leave the strategy to get some results. The idea is to already have a B and a C plan to do whichever of these results comes. So instead of designing the roadmap to get 100 new clients, we need to design the first stages of any 0 to 1 roadmap to first of all get a baseline of this metric that we know that it's going to drive the success of our product. In this case, is new clients, and we need to focus on getting that baselines based on the first assumptions that we have, and having a plan. For example, if we launch an email campaign and we get below 5% of click-to-rate ratio, okay, we're going to do this B plan next. And if we go above that, maybe we're gonna do C. So there, you're gonna get, first of all, the learnings of launching A without the fear, without the uncertainty of having to reach that 100 new clients. And we're gonna put the value on the learnings of this validation. So after doing this exercise, if you go with the upper road, you're gonna either crash it and get 100 or above 100 new clients, and it's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna be the best product manager, and you nail the metric, and you nail the development, and the team is awesome, or not. And it's gonna be a flip of a coin. So it's not about being like the hero, it's about providing certainty to the development process. And the way to do that is to avoid on these first stages, this kind of metrics that really does not make any sense and can lead to all of these mist of fear that we want to avoid during these stages. So once again, first of all, prioritize the learnings of the impact to the key metric that you decide to track, and have always a follow-up plan if it goes well or if it goes bad. Why? Because the moment that you get these results after doing the validation, these obviously is something that the team is expecting. So I, as a designer of, I don't know, a developer, I just joined this new adventurous team that is going to launch this product in this new geographical zone. And the first thing that we do fails. So that could be really bad for the further development of the process if the aim was to get a number. If the aim was to know how this thing that we have been designing and working and validating impacts this metric that we have chosen, then we're gonna win anyways, because we're gonna know what happens. We're gonna know, oh, the result is X, oh, the result is Y. And we have already a plan for that. And that plan could be as simple as, okay, if it's okay, then we're gonna move for the next, if this was an email, then we're gonna move to the sign up page. If it goes badly, okay, we need to iterate on this, and we have already a baseline of the behavior of this kind of exercises on the metric that we're trying to impact. So regarding the results, we have already seen how getting 100 new clients is something that will drive fear, that will drive in 99 of the cases that we don't smash the metric that we have chosen. It will drive uncertainty to the team, to the strategy, and obviously to the results that you're sharing with the team. So it's really important for these 0 to 1 stages that we first get a baseline of this, whatever thing that we're doing, and then we can get some metrics like, for example, week over week growth. That will depend on the time cycles that you have on your methodology. If you are used or you want to get releases every week, it's amazing to have a week over week has a metric of how well are you doing. If you're working with sprints of 2 weeks or even shape ups of 6 weeks, you can change this week over week to month over month or whatever. But as often as you can, try to avoid these fixed number results and metrics, because they don't fit into a 0 to 1 stage, because all of the unknowns that you're going to face on this development. If you work with a week over week growth metric, it is already based on a real in a real life scenario baseline, and it will provide a better frame for your strategy and a better environment for your team. Now we're gonna go to the third part of the framework, which is the team. And here are a couple of relevant things, but obviously the main one is like the mood of the team. Let's say that you have already an amazing team. You're gonna have two kinds of people. You're gonna have the ones that love this kind of quest, that they see this adventurous stage of 0 to 1 and they love it. And you're gonna have the ones that they just don't. It doesn't make them like bad or anything. It could be like they just are a little bit uncomfortable regarding this kind of challenges. So how can we drive certainty to the team to both of those cases with this right here? Remember and align them always. How important is this thing that you're doing? Even though that you're working with the tech lead or the CTO that has like a great expertise on databases, and they are doing now no code side, or they doing a database on Airtable, remember them how important is for your company, for your product, for your startup, the validation that you're doing. Yes, right now it's not a technical challenge, but it is really relevant for everyone because we have already decided that this is a priority, this is a great opportunity for us, and this is the best way to validate it. And that it's gonna end, that we have already a plan that will take us from the point that we are in to wherever we want to go. So this will frame them to know that it doesn't matter if you enjoy it or you hate it, it's important and it's gonna end. Cool. So next one here. Let's do like a roundup of everything that we have gone through. Regarding strategy and roadmaps, there's this other framework called ABC. Basically, what it is that you should know where you are. That is point A. Like we are just beginning the sprint one. We have these kind of resources. We have done this validation, so we have these results. We know C. We know where we want to land. We want to land with a great and healthy user base in this new country, and we know exactly what to do next. We know A, we know B, and we know C. We don't have to know C, D, E, F. We don't have to know that right now. We just need to know what happens now, what needs to happen next, and where we want to go. Circuit breakers, this is a term from ShapeUp, but you can call it like basically having a strict timeline to drop the pencil, to stop working, and to launch whatever you have on your hands and whatever is left. Why? Because if you don't have like a defined time frame that the team is going to develop any release, that is a window, a huge window to invite fear and uncertainty into the development process. When we're talking about results and metrics, always remember to give value to the learnings. Always remember when you're discussing the impact of the first weeks, of the first sprints, that the first aim of everything is to learn, to validate whatever we have, to get some feedback, and based on that, we can talk about growth. We can talk about impacting the new users metric, the whatever metric you choose that will drive this project. But we have to give space. We have to talk about learnings, and we have to put that in the results and metric space. And regarding the team, I believe that these kind of stages provide a unique opportunity to provide a much valuable, context that is going to be really valuable in next stages. This is something that I believe that is often like not everybody takes a look at it, but if you try to remember of all the times that you have been involved on a 0 to 1 stage of whatever, it could be a football team that you were making with your friends. It could be whatever 0 to 1 stage in your life. Those first weeks were truly magical because everyone was involved into this exercise. What is going to happen in this 0 to 1 stage is that you're going to have a designer discussing things with the engineers, talking with real users, and that value that this stage provides is really unique, and it's something that is going to be missed whenever you bring new people to the team. You're going to notice how they don't have this context, that the only way to get it was to going through this 0 to 1 stage. So always remember, when you're dealing with any issues with the team, that this is important. This has an impact. Whatever you're doing a Notion side, you're doing a QA side, you're doing something that it could be really basic for them, but remember them about the impact and how valuable is the context that they are getting on this stage. Cool. So yeah, I believe that almost just in time. Thank you very much for this. That is my personal website where you can find my Twitter and email and whatever. I'm really excited of having the opportunity to share this with everyone, and I will be also really happy if you reach to discuss one of these points, to talk about everything in product management related teams.
Thank you very much, Will. Thank you. That's really insightful. I'd like to move on to the Q&A stage, right? Again, just a reminder, you all can submit your question on Slido, and the link will be posted by our team in the chat window every 10 minutes. Yes, this is the one. And you can also upvote other people's questions on Slido. So right now, let me just start the Slido presentation, and 1 second. Here we go. All right. Can you see my screen, Will? On Slido?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So Sandra asked the first question: how do we measure or test product market fit during new product development? Any methods or tools that are more proactive than measuring conversion and churn?
Yes, that is an amazing question. And the usual response from a product manager, it depends. and it depends. I would like to, every time that I discuss product market fit, I think that the answer will always be on the unit economics. The unit economics must make sense in order to claim a product market fit. Why? Because I believe that it's kind of inside the term, like product and market. If we only focus on, for example, signups, if we only focus on churn, if we only focus on conversion, and we see a great increase on that, like a super hockey stick, and it's amazing, everybody's talking about us, but it does not make sense to the business model that we're trying to validate, then I would not consider that product market fit. So to measure in a more proactive way, I will select a unit economic from the business model that I'm working on. And once that makes sense, that we have validated the assumption that that product is a business, because it not only get the user the solution that they are looking for, but it also provides us with value from the user. I will prioritize that as a measure for product market fit.
Mm-hmm. Got you. And if I can just add on to the question, right? How about for products that are pre-revenue? Typical example will be us, right? Yeah. So what's your view about how we can measure product market fit or products like us?
Well, I'm sure that ADPList has an hypothesis of the value that you're gonna bring, and maybe the way that you can measure that is engagement. Like I don't know. That is a great question. Part of the hypothesis of the business must be something like, if we reach this number of people, then we can do this other thing. So it will be like a product market fit for the stage that you are in. Like what needs to be true for you to move into bigger problems, or to know that the problems that you're working on are already solved.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah. Wonderful. I'd like to move on to the next question, which is by Samantha. So Samantha asked the question on tips for estimating how long tasks will take early on in the process.
Yeah, that is also like a big source of fear and uncertainty. Like how much time should I give the team to work on this? You will never know. That's the truth. It's impossible to know unless you're working on something that is really repeatable, how long that is going to take. So you have to make a decision of the duration of the development cycles for your team. On these stages, I will not recommend sprints longer than 2 weeks. The shorter the time you have to get some feedback from your validations, the better. Especially because you're probably gonna be working on simple stuff, simple but impactful and valuable. But simple because it's an MVP. It's the first thing. You don't want to build a whole app and then test if it works. So ideally, less than 2 weeks, and adjust every task to be able to be finished during that time frame that you're gonna set has the cadence of the development.
Thank you for the tips. Again, right, everyone, you can submit your question while also scanning the QR code behind me. So that is an easier way. Moving on to the next question, we have Lucia. So Lucia asked, which initial metrics should we pay attention to in the MVP, business and or UX metrics?
That is also a great question. And I sense that maybe behind that question is that let's say that I just push this project to be the focus of my team, and I'm worried that the first traction that is gonna get is from the UX metrics side, and it's not gonna show like an impactful business metric. Is there a priority between those two? No, there isn't. I believe that you should choose just one of those two and solve the other one in another stage. You should have a plan of how to reach the other one. You cannot just try to validate the business side without knowing if that is true. Then how are you going to solve the UX side, and vice versa? You need to know what eventually you're going to validate from one and another in order to the whole strategy to have sense. But you should focus on just one of those first. And ideally, the MVP should cover both. A true MVP should already solve for business and UX metrics, but you can make a case that you first want to get the UX right, because it's It's a dependency on the business metric to make sense and to work. For example, if no one can go past the onboarding, then you obviously not going to have a business impact. So first you have to solve the UX and then validate if the business hypothesis makes sense.
Got it. Wonderful. Thank you very much for that insight. Moving on to the next question, we have Lucia again. So Lucia's question is, how do you struggle with a situation where the client pushes for a feature that the MVP doesn't need?
That's amazing. Oof. It's tricky. And honestly, what I want to answer to this is, you should not do it. You should not do it. You should be able to, if you think, if this causes you trouble, it's not the ideal place for you to work. Why I'm saying this? Because maybe many of us give priority to the client. Like my job is to make what the client is looking for. But if you don't think that is a priority, and you have the priority, the user in mind has a priority, and you are unable to bypass that, and you are unable to explain to the client that the MVP is not for them, it's for the user, and the MVP has a reason to be like that, then maybe it's time to update that CV and look a more valuable place for your talent. But obviously, first trying to explain to the client that MVP is not for them, it's for a user, and the MVP is focused on that user.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, thank you. Moving on to the next question, we have Jonathan, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name wrong. When we know ABC, we do iteration, right? But as PM, what things and when that we can sure what we are create is failed and better to pivot?
Yes, that's tough. During these circuit breakers, and whenever you have just passed like learnings, you launch something and you're seeing the metrics, you have to ask yourself, do we iterate on this? Do we repeat it? Do we do a complete pivot, or do we kill it? And that is always hard. And those are the type of metrics, when you are indecisive of which ones of those to do, it's always better to or do a hard pivot or kill it. And that this relates to the theory of you hate sevens. From 1 to 10, you're getting a 7. You're getting like it's not great. It's not an 8, 9, or 10 that you are sure that is working, but it's also not at 6, 5, 4, or 3, because it's not that awful. You don't want to get stuck in that 7. Either you leave the validation as it is, and it's okay, it's a 7, let's move on, we can work with a 7, or acknowledge that it's not an 8, it's not a 9, it's not a 10, and you have to do something different. But it's hard because you're not getting like bad data, you're not getting great data. You should always aim for acknowledging that it's something that you're gonna need to work on that later. Like, okay, we can move, for example, you have 10 steps on your onboarding, and the one that you're working on, the number 3, gives you a 7. You can choose like, okay, we're gonna leave it at 7. It's not the best that we can convert during this stage, but we need to move on. So let's go now to the 4th stage of the funnel and come back to that 3rd one to improve that 7.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Moving on to the next question. This one is from Alejandro. What would you what would be your biggest learning as a product owner and product manager, I guess?
I'm really happy to see your name, Alejandro, and knowing that you're here. That is amazing. Alejandro is an engineer that I have the pleasure to work with, and actually, my biggest learnings comes always from the team that I work with, and it's a tough question. My biggest learning has been to enjoy the process. You're gonna face really hard challenges as product manager, because you're gonna be the one that it's gonna take the fails, and you should give the wins to the team. So the biggest thing that I believe that you're gonna learn during the process is to have that, to enjoy the process with the wins and the fails, and to learn from everyone that you're working with. So biggest learning, to be humble, and to know, and to be open to be able to learn from anyone.
I totally agree with you, Will. I think it is actually, it's very hard to work at a 0 to 1 stage, and you should totally enjoy the process, right? And learn from, enjoy the ride as much as possible, and reaching there, the goal is almost, secondary to the journey itself. All right. Moving on to the next question we have from Sandra. What types of signals to look for to consider the MVP is delivering value to its intended users? It is based on verbal feedback, usage behavior, or surveys?
I will always go with behavior. Verbal feedback and surveys provides qualitative feedback, which is amazing for the 0 to 1 stage. You're only gonna have qualitative feedback because you don't have any users yet. So that is what you're gonna get. But the way that you're gonna know the signals are gonna be from qualitative. It's gonna be always conversions. It's always gonna be what they do, not what they say. We're gonna use what they say in order to know which direction to move and to have a sense of how are we doing. But we're gonna know for sure from all the quantitative feedback that we get from the users.
Wonderful, thank you. The next question we have is, I'm sorry, I would like to, anonymous questions will not be considered for this session, so we'll move on to the next one. The next one is from Jensen. Again, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. When you are building your first MVP and received some customer interviews, do you mention to the customers that you are building an app, or leave that detail?
Okay, so I have the sense that this question is when you're interviewing users about something that you're gonna build eventually, and I have always had a trouble with those kind of validations, because they can mislead us. If they are not truly seeing the app that you're building, or at least they are not thinking that they are seeing the app that you're going to eventually build, I will not consider that as true feedback. I will try to scope down the MVP, or try to look for a risk assumption test, or something that will resemble the product core feature that we want to deliver, and see their response to that, instead of looking for a conversation, looking for a reaction. looking for a behavior, looking for feedback of what they do, and avoid using what they say has signs of impact.
Got you. Thank you. I think in the interest of time, we'll take one last question from Vinod. How do we define metrics? Do you have any specific strategy for 0 to 1?
Yeah, for 0 to 1, always avoid fixed numbers. It should not make any sense to work with fixed numbers on 0 to 1s. Aim first for baselines, like the first thing that you need to uncover are baselines to whatever you're working on. Define metrics. I will choose one main metric that, for example, new users, or for example, new amount of deposits from users, or number of transactions from users that don't have more than 1 month of life on the platform, and just focus on that until it's solved. Why? Because you're going to have the opportunity to have like 2 or 3 main metrics after the development process. But for the 0 to 1, you're just going to have more fear and uncertainty if you don't focus on just one metric and align everyone, the strategy, and the team around that. So you can use whatever strategy or whatever you think is best, but just focus on one until that one is solved.
Mm-hmm. Got you. So always focus on your North Star matrix. Great. Thank you so much, Will. This is a fantastic session. Now, before we wrap up, let us all turn on our camera and take a group photo together. So let's please turn on your camera so that we can take a photo together. All right. 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. And again, just a reminder to post your learnings on LinkedIn and Twitter. Tag Will and tag ADPList. Stand a chance to win our Apple Watch giveaway. Before we wrap up, stand a chance to win our Apple Watch. For those of you who want to learn more, head over to our website, adplist.org, or follow us on our social media. Thank you very much for joining today. I will see you in our next session tomorrow, and together, let's be more.